So welcome. We're going to go ahead and start our morning sadhana today in a seated posture. So you can find that posture for yourself now. Let the legs be crossed in a comfortable way. Sit up nice and tall in your spine, relaxing the spine as high upward as is comfortable this early in the practice. We're going to turn our palms to face up on our laps and draw the palms as high up the lap as you can to lift the heart and relax the shoulders. You can close the eyes down for the first part of our practice and start to tune in to yourself, to your own sense of center in your life. And to relax from the oscillation between excitement and exhaustion and come back to the point in yourself that is always resting calm. A silent joy emanating from deep within you. Just let the breath slowly and naturally come in and out of the nose. See if you can let go of any gripping in a part of the body. So let the muscles relax. Let the mind relax. And lastly is to draw this inner center of yourself up high, high in the body, higher than the heart, right to the point between the two eyebrows. And to feel your whole sense of self expanding. As if you're looking through a window, looking out into the distance. It's the dawning of a new day, a new consciousness. So we're going to remain in this inward state, and we'll have a chant to take us into the next aspect of our practice. If at any time you need to move around, feel free, of course. This chant is called God, Christ, Gurus. God is the divine, Christ is the perfect reflection of the divine, and the Guru as the channel or the faultless window of that consciousness into this world. See if you could feel attuned with these energies. to sit tall in the spine. Lift all your energy to the new dawning of consciousness, shining into your life and your mind. A brief moment or two in the newly awakened silence. And of course, as is natural, you can slowly begin to come back to your body and slowly open the eyes. So it's a wonderful way to start our practice, to open the heart and to get our energy already flowing so that these postures can really serve that purpose of helping us to feel more unified and connected with our own consciousness to the divine. Let's go ahead and come right out of our seat. You can take onto hands and knees. And just do a little reach of one of the feet behind you, a little rocking forwards and backwards. And then you can set that side down, move right to the other side, just rolling over the ball of the foot onto the toes and back to the ball of the foot. And then both knees onto the ground. Go ahead and set the hips back and inhale nice and low to the earth. Keep the elbows close by the ribs and peel into cow position, lifting the crown of the head. Exhale, sink back as though touching child's pose and lift the hips away from the heels, right onto tips of the fingers for cat, looking to the lap. And we'll just oscillate between these two movements. Watch very closely. This isn't necessarily a posture, but it is a moving meditation from one point of expression to another. So the in-between stages are just as important as the point when you reach into the full expression of the pose. And feel that there is a sense of vitality filling your spine with each flow of your breath. Center your attention into the body. Be wholly involved in the process. Breathing and sensing as you move. We'll enjoy one round of inhaling, holding the breath held in. Deep breath, fill the belly, ribs, chest, crown of the head reaching towards the sky. Relax the low spine and feel yourself suspended. And when you need to exhale, exhale, push all the breath out. Keep it held out in a relaxed manner, not forceful, looking behind the body, and then come to neutral when you're ready. We're going to send right foot behind us, left hand extending forward, waking up the region of the belly. Try to look beyond the edge of your mat, look in front of you, and point as though creating with laser beam-like focus, point through the point between your eyebrows. You can set that side down. Left hand right to the earth and set the back heel down. Open yourself right into side plank position. We're opening to this consciousness now to the right of our body so that you can feel that it's all around you. When you're ready, go ahead and set that side back down onto the earth. Just a few warm-ups. Let's send left foot back, this time right hand forwards. So the strength of this posture comes right from the center of your being. From the place that is a wellspring of joy and bliss. Let that bliss expand out to the edges of your fingers, underneath the toes. Lifting thumb side facing up on the right hand, lift your gaze as well, like you're springing forward out of the pose. And then as you feel it naturally, the exhale takes you down. Right hand to the earth, back heel drops onto the earth. For extra support, left hand up to the sky. So shine this consciousness now all around on the left side of your practice. An inhalation takes a brightening and expansion. Exhalation, you can fold yourself back and down to the earth. Let's come standing right onto the knees. We're going to work in the spine just a little bit here to awaken a bit more. Join the hands in front of the heart and start to sink your hips back for a moment. And we're going to double inhale and tense the arms open as far apart as you can reach, and then relax them forward. So again, we'll do it together. Double inhale. Squeeze the arms, especially behind the heart, and then double exhale to release. Nice, smooth, gradual increase of tension until it's at its peak, and then reverse that process and relax. A couple more times. Good. Squeeze the muscles till they vibrate and then relax them. One more. Good. And exhale, hands into the heart. All right, let's go ahead and come into a place where we can rest. So if you'd like, you can just sit over your ankles and come into cross-legged position. And just take a moment here. Close the eyes. Draw the hands into the heart. Set your intention for your practice. What direction do you want to aim your consciousness? In what way can you expand from this moment forward to be more wakeful, to be more in tune with the reality of your consciousness as joy and bliss? You just take a moment with yourself. Some of us may inhale and raise the hands above the head, elbows slightly bent, and relax into mountain pose. A deeply conductive pose. Shift the energy to the point between the two eyebrows by looking gently upward. When you finish your intention, you inhale and release the hands. Exhale, part the arms out nice and wide and down. You can sweep the feet around and we'll come on to hands and knees. We're actually going to stand right through our knees and send, let's start on left side first. We'll send our left leg out nice and long. Your toes are pointed in the same direction as your hips. Let your bottom hand just be a support. The other arm coming up and reaching up side body, your right arm, all the way up and over and leaning into the pose. See if you can get a sense that there's an energy of your legs drawing together. You're pulling the energy from the left side and it's drawing up this foundational support of the right leg. And all that energy rises like waves on the surface of the ocean up through the spine. The affirmation, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Get a little bit longer, especially through the trunk here, right down by the hips, right through the ribs. When you're ready, you inhale and stand all the way up through the spine. Relax the shoulders. You can leave the hands above the head in our mountain pose position with the arms, or you can rest the hands into the heart. And just take a moment here to close the eyes and to listen to the effects of the pose on your consciousness. Relax all efforts here. inhalation takes hands rising back overhead. Exhale to part the arms. Bow the hips behind you. Use the strength of your belly. Careful in the low spine. As you get to the earth, you can take that leg and slide it out of the way. Let's inhale into a cow position, creating a deep arch in the lower back. And then exhale to round the back, tucking belly up towards the spine. Good. Let's come into neutral. And before we do the other side, just step your hands a little bit further forward than you used to and start to circle the hips around. So you tuck your hips or your tail, if you had one, underneath. And you go forward and you spread the hips wide. Spread wide. And just do a couple rounds here on either route or either direction. And as you come into a nice even practice, you can go ahead and stand back onto the knees. Sometimes it's easier to extend the leg out first. So we're doing right side this time. Right leg goes out long. And stand tall in the spine. Roll the shoulders down and back and feel the upward lift through your heart. Gently slide your hand onto the leg. It's just a support, no weight bearing. When you inhale, draw the energy in through the legs, right up through the spine, and then send your arm reaching over at an angle. And all the while you keep relaxing your spine longer and longer. Palm is facing down towards the earth. You may only have just an inch or a tiny degree of side body extension. And that's perfectly fine so long as your spine is free to ripple upward. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. The beauty of this process is that we're not becoming something we weren't already before. We're simply removing that which obstructs our experience of who we naturally are, which is joyful, blissful. Let's inhale and reach both arms up to the sky. Lengthen through the spine by pressing the crown of the head as tall as you can go. Relax your shoulders. Again, you can draw hands into prayer and pause here, or you can come into the heart. It's your choice. In either case, draw the chin towards the throat so you can get further reach through the crown. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. A smile is a great way to draw on that joy. It gives you a little extra leverage to pull it out from within yourself. When you're ready, the inhale takes hands rising up above the head. Exhale to part them. Bow the hips behind you. Important to take your hands on your hips if your low back is sensitive, but in any case, squeeze the belly as you lower down to the ground. Let's set both knees underneath the hips. We're going to go ahead and step our hands forward enough that we can lie down onto our bellies. So go ahead and lie down, and we're going to take hands underneath or in front of the face and push into the hands to seat the elbows under the shoulders to get you into a nice Sphinx pose. Big toes are connected unless you have low back sensitivity. Step the feet nice and wide. Ideally, you should be able to feel your pelvic bone pushing into the earth. That's the front side of your hips. Pull on your elbows a little bit to decompress the low spine. The affirmation, I rise joyfully to meet each new opportunity. See if you can tune in to that sort of bubbly or even calm, expansive feeling that joy has, the pervasiveness of it. So if you're happy here, just resting and breathing, you can stay just as you are. If you'd like to come into Cobra position, you lower down, set the hands out of the way. Inhale, make sure that your pelvic bone stays on the ground. Use the strength of the back muscles, pulling behind the heart, chin draws towards the chest. You stay as long as you can be calm and comfortable, and then exhale and come back and down towards the earth. And then see if you can relax completely, forehead onto the earth, and just let go of the body. Let go of supportive muscles, gripping muscles. We're going to do 2 more rounds like this. So inhale, feel that you're lengthening through the lower spine by reaching the heart forwards, by lifting through crown of the head. Pull on the heels of the hands as the elbows remain close by the sides of your ribs. I rise joyfully to welcome each new opportunity. Make sure that the breath is free to move through the body unrestricted by any mental anticipation, and then slowly come back and down. If you need to, you make a little nest with your hands. You can always bend the knees and wave the feet side to side. This is a nice way to get the spine to relax. So our last round, we're going to hold the pose, and of course, whenever you need to come down, let your own sense of inner guidance and inner authority guide you. So hands are underneath the shoulders, as though you're going to leap off of the mat. You're reaching forward, shoulders stay relaxed, elbows by the ribs. Go ahead, point the toes, point the toes. Once you get into the pose, let the arms bear some of the weight. And look to the new and dawning horizon of consciousness that we are welcoming into our experience. If you can take 3 more breaths, stay in the pose. Careful not to overdo it in the lower spine. We are certainly in this as a marathon race and not a sprint to the end of our practice. When you do come down, slowly lower, tuck toes underneath, use the strength of your arms to lift you from the earth, and bow the hips all the way back, untucking the toes for child's pose. Sometimes it can be therapeutic just to sort of rock a little bit side to side, to shift pressure from one leg to the other. And you're breathing deeply. All this newly awakened energy is circulating through our bodies. Our awareness ever increasing, ever more wakeful. Remember, your soul can never be satisfied by moving in to smaller and smaller consciousness. The nature of our soul is expansive bliss. So in any given posture, we want to expand by greater relaxation, greater calmness. Now when you're ready to rise out of the pose, just go ahead and lift the hips up off of the heels and come through tabletop position. We'll tuck the toes underneath and press our hips up to the sky. Take a nice deep bend in the knees. Not so much the back of the legs that we're working with here, but more into the hips. So keep the knees bent and look behind you as you feel the slow, gradual relaxation from the feet and ankles, through the calves and knees,
thighs and hips, right up through the belly, lower spine, ribs and chest, shoulders, through the arms, neck, head, hands. The affirmation, as you gradually start to press the knees backwards a little, careful not to overdo it. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Embody these words as a living consciousness expanding from the heart of your practice. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Yes, that includes the backs of your legs, perhaps the hands or the head or neck. Slowly and gradually, we're going to make our way into a transition, walking hands all the way back towards the feet and slowly rolling up the spine so that you're at the back of your mat and you're gradually approaching a standing position. When you do arrive, flip the palms to face forward, roll the shoulders down and back, and lift right onto the tips of your toes. Get nice and tall here, and just get a sense of the whole body lifting up towards the sky. And then you can exhale and settle that back and down. Let's draw energy of the heart by inhaling, gradually drawing hands up front side of the body, pass over the heart and reach up towards the sky, palms touching. We're going to step feet nice and close together. If you need to, you can step them apart after and slowly start to lean over. Let's actually do left side first. Careful not to cave the heart down, but keep the heart open and reach taller. Lengthen through your spine. All great awakenings take great courage and strength. So in this posture, we affirm strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Keep lengthening upward. Relax the body further into the pose, and you'll find that you have much more capacity than the mind was presently giving us permission to have. You can inhale and come to center, and then exhale and part the hands down. Good, let's bend the knees as we drop the hands down. Just sit the hips back. Try not to bend the spine too much, and then inhale and lift all the way up. Good, exhale, we're gonna reset. So take the hands onto the hips, bend the knees, and then slowly slide down. This will keep the low spine safe. Let the head and the neck relax. You may even do a little bit of rocking side to side. Exhalations getting longer and longer. Let all of the inner expectation, anticipation start to release out of the body. When you feel ready to rise, a couple different options. You can just roll up the spine with knees bent. If your spine is sensitive, take your hands to your thighs and start to bend the knees, squeeze the belly, and just leverage your way up by standing through the spine. It's a nice gentle way to lift. Arms all the way above. Exhale, hands into the heart, feet nice and close together. When you're ready, you can even just lean here. So you lean sort of from the region of the heart. You can also extend the arms overhead for the full half moon pose. In any case, find the point in your practice where your body is challenged. Not to the point where we feel like we're in a state of survival, but just enough that we press the edges, we reach a little bit further. The affirmation, strength and courage fill my body cells.
Let that affirmation be like a current that's flowing through your body. Strength and courage fill my body cells. If you notice that the heart's caving a little, just look past the armpit here. It'll help to keep you very honest in your spine. When you're ready to come out of the pose, inhale calmly. Once you come to center, go ahead and part the arms. Let them slowly come down on either side. Good. Let's take feet nice and wide here. So you can stand sideways on your mat if you'd like, or you can just go ahead and take the feet right off of the mat. We're going to go ahead, take a deep inhalation, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, push the hips back and empty all the breath. Head comes towards the earth. Now, if you'd like, you can send your hands, if they get to the thighs, keep them here. If they get to the shins, maybe even the ankles. Now, if your toes are pointing out, away from your center, you can bend your knees and just do a little rocking side to side. Just keep the head down. The affirmation, I relax and cast aside all mental burdens. The key to that affirmation, I relax. Then all mental burdens will relieve. Let's turn the toes to face into the center and just pour the whole upper body towards the floor. Make sure that the weight of your body is on the balls of your feet. Your heels are ideally nice and light. And all the while your hips are pushing backwards. It's like you're folding a blanket. The belly is folding over thighs. Bend the knees if need be. Good. And then we'll start to heel toe the feet closer together until they're underneath the hips. We're not coming up, we're going down into downward facing dog. So walk your hands forwards. And when you reach a comfortable position, push the hips to the sky, heels get heavy, and look to your lap. Now, if you could imagine that you are closing your armpits down, the pointy part of your elbow is ideally pointing towards your knees. So you could sort of bow down like a dog would, right, onto the forearms. All right, when you're ready, a large step of the left foot all the way between the hands, back knee drops down. Walk one hand at a time up the thigh until you're in a lunging pose. So ideally this is a nice neutral position, restful for your body. When you feel ready to inhale, free the arms up above the head. Good, exhale, hands into the heart. Now you go as far as you'd like to. Start the slow reaching forwards, reaching. Go through all those little intermediary stages where the body has to readjust to support your posture. And when you reach the point that you're ready to stop, there's no pain there, there's no struggle, but there is an activation, a challenge perhaps. Arms go above the head, and we lift the heart in this pose. Your legs are your solid foundation, working cooperatively to hold up the temple of your body and to glorify the altar of your heart. Inhaling, separate the palms. Exhale, let hands come all the way down to the earth. Good. We're going to take a lift of our back knees so that you're in a long lunging position. If you'd like, you can come into a twisting pose here. Step your left hand up to your knee and then step the left hand into the sky and look to the side, shining your heart. Let's use the affirmation, I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. Soften your heart physically, mentally. Make the decision to release any conflict or unresolved feeling. You can go ahead and lower down as you're ready to. So to come out of the pose, just take a slide step behind you. Push the hips up to the sky. Good, we're going to come to the other side and then we'll take a deep rest. Right foot all the way between the hands. Knee drops down. Right hand to come to the thigh first, then left to support. So make sure that your knee is cushioned appropriately. You're standing right over that supportive leg. Good, get nice and stable. Hands up into the heart. Feel everything drawing up from the earth. When you feel centered, let the hands come down. Inhale up and around and above the head. Now start the slow process of leaning forwards. Go ahead and lean forwards. Especially for my friends that are very flexible, resist the temptation to just fall into the furthest version of the pose. If you're very flexible, your challenge is to work on strength. If your flexibility seems limited, then your journey is to slowly relax into a deeper version of whatever your body is in at this moment. Lift the heart. Make sure everything keeps rising upward. You're tuned into your practice and your body. One integrated expression from your legs to your arms to your torso, all through your body. When you're ready to release, the inhale takes brightening, expand, always expand, and then exhale to release to the ground. Hands onto the earth. Lift the back knee off of the ground and get stable in your legs for a moment here if you need a little adjustment. And then stepping right hand up to the knee and maybe up to the sky. And you get right into the energy of being a channel in this world for grace to flow through. Ideally, we become a window for divine consciousness to flow through, to uplift others, to remind them of their own joyful nature. I radiate love and goodwill to soul friends everywhere. You ready to come down? Inhale to brighten and expand. Exhale, slowly descend with just the hands. Slide, step the foot out of the way. Some of our bodies might quite like to rest into the downward facing dog pose. Some of our legs are ready to set into child's pose. So you draw yourself into the pose that you feel ready for. The last option, if you have a body type that enjoys this pose, you can sit over the ankles in Vajrasana or Hero's pose. If you're doing that, face the palms up on the lap. Especially relax at the point between the two eyebrows and feel that your awareness is all gathering through great rivers, tributaries, and streamlets, and all coming back into the central ocean of the spine. And that the inner current of the body is carrying everything northward, all of the energy rising up through the body looking east, right to the point between the two eyebrows, to see the dawning of new consciousness in our body. It's important to take a deep rest here. And as this new consciousness is flowing into your body, old impressions of days past, old memories, start to wash out of your body so that you become a perfect, renewed expression, every moment a living expression of consciousness. Let's enjoy 3 more breaths. If you are still in downward facing dog, make sure that you take the time to rest. Especially on the last breath, make sure that it is a God-reminding breath, that it affirms your own sense of unity and connection with all that is. When it's your time to rise out of the position, we're going to sit back over the ankles only as a way. You can take your hands into fists. Excuse me, if you have strong hands, you can take the tips of your fingers and anchor them on the earth. In either case, we're going to lift our hips up off of our heels, and we're going to look straight into the distance. See how long you can stay here. The affirmation, energetic movement or unmoving peace. The choice is mine alone. The choice is mine. We're going to lower down. If you need to change the hand position, go ahead. We'll come back into the pose for one more round. I think fists are a good way to do this position here. Careful not to tuck your thumbs under your fingers in a fist, but just use the strength of the knuckles and the arms. This time look up to the point where the ceiling and the wall meet without moving your chin. Relax the brow and repeat, this time in super consciousness. Energetic movement or unmoving peace. The choice is mine alone. The choice is mine. Lower down as you're ready to. We're going to take this pose even deeper now, away from the thighs into the spine. You can go ahead and stand onto the knees. Once you get comfortable here on your knees, most of us will set heels of the hands onto the low of the spine and squeeze elbows and shoulders together. This is camel position. It's important to have a calm, steady breath here. This much leverage to open the heart is sure to create a powerful experience in the center of your heart. The idea here is to let the heart not only relax forward, but aspire upward. And rather than just flipping the head behind us, draw the chin towards the chest so that you can sustain the pose. Some of us will close the eyes if we feel very comfortable. And we'll look between the eyebrows. This is not to be confused with crossing the eyes, but When you look to the point between the two eyebrows, it's as though you're looking through a window into the distance. It's the same feeling as the sun rising out of the ocean. A feeling of a dawning, a widening or expanding of who you are. Now, if at any time you need to reset, you just lower the hands down for a moment, maybe rub the kidneys and look to the ground. We're going to come back into the pose, and for those of us who maybe have practiced this pose for many years, if your body allows you to do so, you can always hold on to the heels and lift your hips through. Most of our bodies are not prepared to do that, and that's quite all right. Heels of the hands back onto the top ridge of the hips, and we're back in the pose. The affirmation with calm faith. I open to thy light. With calm faith, I open to thy light. Inhalation to expand all that awakened energy in the heart. Exhale, relax the hands, but keep the gaze upward for just a moment. You can take hands into the heart. Good, and then we'll slowly lower down. So let's swing the feet out of the way and come into our seat. It's a good time for a forward folding pose after all this practice this morning. All right, once you're ready, you go ahead and reach back behind you. If there's any muscle that needs to be pulled out of the way, you're getting your pelvic bowl to relax forwards. You can feel the whole region of the pelvis is in a constant tug of war between the low spine and the backs of your legs. So I like to rub my legs a little bit here just to let everything know that it's okay to relax deeply. Now in this particular pose, we're coming into Paschimottanasana. Let's start in staff pose. Hands go right by the sides of your hips, toes to the sky, and lift your heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades behind the body. This is a wakeful pose. And you're actually pressing into the earth so much that you could almost hover your hips. See if you can take a little bit of compression away from the lower back. Nice, strong, steady pose. And then lower the hips back down and feel the sits bones, the points of your hips anchor back into the ground. Take the fingertips behind you and start to slowly look. It's a gradual process of just sort of incrementally relaxing forward. Some of us make it an inch and we feel a pulling on our spine, the whole body feels stimulated, and that's where you work from. So this isn't to be confused with rounding the back and lowering the head, but we're still lengthening the spine. Keep the shoulder blades squeezed behind the body. And if you need to wiggle the toes, if the sensation gets really intense through the legs, it's a worthwhile practice. And once you reach the point where you feel like your body is ready to stay, tuck the chin towards the chest and lengthen up through the crown of the head. Remember, this practice is not about forcing yourself into postures, but keeping the channel of the spine open as we slowly relax into the available posture. Now, if you keep relaxing, you'll find that you gradually have more room to lean forwards. Some of us go so far as to free the hands in front of the body, And we can still keep the shoulder blades behind the heart. You could always watch me if you're a little bit confused as to the practice. Now, the moment many of us are probably waiting for, at some point you can round the back and just lower the head and neck down. Your whole practice has been a preparation to breathe into the sensation that you may feel along your spine. Keep walking the hands slowly, gradually forwards. The more that you tuck your chin, the greater the pulling sensation along the spine. Just be mindful that you don't overdo it. And the affirmation for this pose, deeply important for all of us. When you hear this affirmation, tune in to your own sense of foundation in this world, the very bedrock upon which everything else in your life is built. The affirmation, I am safe, I am sound, all good things come to me. I am safe, I am sound, all good things come to me. The beauty of this pose is that the more that you relax, the further your body begins to fold forwards. Over many years of practice, you'll find the body gradually beginning to change its shape. No matter how far you're able to fold forwards, for each of us there is a proportionate to the shape of our body, there is a proportionate experience of bliss. We're all looking for the sweet spot in our own bodies and our practice. Whether you've gone an inch or you've gone a mile, that same bliss is always available. So when you feel ready, you can start to make your way back up. You just round up the spine. Let's go ahead and bend the knees to give the legs a break here. Set the hands behind you and connect the feet together. Let the knees open wide and press the heart as high up as it'll go. So fold the shoulder blades behind the heart region. You get this wonderful moment to feel it all rise up through the body. Chin stays tucked. Relax the throat, relax the heart. Keep active here, pressing off of the ground. Look to the spiritual eye as your final gesture in the practice, your final expression. Good. At some point you're ready to fold the knees back up together. Let them wash side to side a couple of times here. Really relax the low spine, flush the body. You might hang out on one side for a moment, look over opposite shoulder. Sometimes you get a nice release of feeling of subtle vibration through the body. A stretch that feels so good in every part. Okay, when you're ready, I'm just going to hold on to the backs of the thighs and take ourselves onto our backs. We'll close our practice with an inversion, knees towards the chest. This is the start of your inversion. You can stay here. If you'd like to connect feet onto the earth, or the active option is to lift the hips off of the ground into bridge pose. If you'd like to come further, watch me first and then try the pose. Plug the elbows into the ground. Float the feet off of the ground, knees towards the chest. Push off of your elbows and sweep your feet up and catch your hips into your hands. This is supportive shoulder stand. Contraindications are too much pressure in the face. It's okay if you have momentary pressure, just breathe calmly. Now all the energy that's normally in the lower regions of the body, the feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, even the belly, anything below the heart is now above it. And so there's this powerful resetting or a refreshing, a cleansing of the whole entire body in this pose. The more that you can relax your heart, relax your throat, and center yourself up at the point between the two eyebrows, the greater the flow of calm becomes through the body. Let's just listen to the first words of this poem as we close out our physical movement practice. With a myriad of living thoughts of devotion, I have built for thee a temple of awakened silence. With a myriad of living thoughts of devotion, I have built for thee a temple of awakened silence. If you're still in this pose, center your awareness into your heart. What thoughts of devotion are you whispering in your practice as you feel the awakening of greater consciousness, greater sense of unity between your little self and all that is? Can you feel the awakened silence? Anytime that you need to, come down out of the pose the same way that you came in. If there's a final pose that you'd really like, a twist or perhaps a figure 4 pose or happy baby, anything that is going to cultivate a deeper sense of connection. I'm going to read through this poem several times. So as you practice, let the devotion, the joy, and the expanded consciousness of this poem open your heart and open you to a deeper connection with yourself. With a myriad of living thoughts of devotion, I have built for thee a temple of awakened silence. I have brought the multicolored lamps of wisdom from all valid faiths. They shine with the luster of thy one truth. The commingled incense of human craving for thy love soars up in spirals from the incense bowl of our hearts. Thy sacred presence shines on altars everywhere. The commingled incense of human craving for thy love soars up in spirals from the incense bowl of our hearts. Thy sacred presence shines on altars everywhere. All prayers of all temples, tabernacles, churches, mosques, and viharas are chanting to thee in the universal language of deep love. The orchestra of our combined feelings plays in harmony with the chorus of all soul songs, with the cry of all tears, with the bursting shout of all joys, and with the united anthem of all prayers. In this wall-less cosmic temple of the soul, we worship thee. Be pleased to reveal thyself to us always. Amen. Om. Amen. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's come into our final resting pose if you haven't already. If it's Shavasana for you, you lie on the back, legs extended, palms facing up, and relax the body. If it's a meditation pose, you come quietly up to a seated posture, legs crossed, sitting upright in the spine. And let the last words of this poem take you deep into your own restful state. Center your awareness at the point between the two eyebrows and gaze out into infinity. In this wall-less cosmic temple of the soul, we worship thee, our one Father, Mother God. Be pleased to reveal thyself to us always. Amen. Om. Amen. In awakened silence, abide in your own wall-less temple. Enjoy a few more minutes of silence. Let's begin the gradual process of coming back to the physical body. Tuning in to the essence or the vibration of the consciousness flowing to you at this moment, flowing through you, enlivening your cells, inspiring awakened silence in the mind. Even revealing the bliss union of the soul. If you're meditating, you may just remain as you are. If you're in Shavasana, gradually begin to introduce the smallest, gentlest movements of the body. Setting into motion enough movement to carry you into a seated pose to join us in meditation. As you do enter the meditation asana or pose, meditation seat, relax your spine higher. It's contraction that folds us into a compressed state. So by relaxing, you'll find it becomes much easier to lengthen the spine. In the wake of relaxation, a flood of fresh energy will rise up the spine. Let's finish by looking to the point between the two eyebrows, expanding yourself to fill your room and beyond. We'll have one more reading in the superconscious state of our poem, and we'll close with a prayer. With a myriad of living thoughts of devotion, I have built for thee a temple of awakened silence. I have brought the multicolored lamps of wisdom from all valid faiths. They shine with the luster of thy one truth. The commingled incense of human craving for thy love soars up in spirals from the incense bowl of our hearts. Thy sacred presence shines on altars everywhere. All prayers of all temples, tabernacles, churches, mosques, and viharas are chanting to thee in the universal language of deep love. The orchestra of our combined feelings play in harmony with the chorus of all soul songs, with the cry of all tears, with the bursting shout of all joys, and with the united anthem of all prayers. In this wall-less cosmic temple of the soul, we worship thee, our one Mother, Father, God. Be pleased to reveal thyself to us always. Amen. Om. Amen. Let's join the hands together in prayer, and we'll offer ourselves as a channel of healing light to souls who are seeking help at this moment. Perhaps they have a physical illness. They may just be troubled by moods or by negative ways of thinking. It may even be a soul who is right on the threshold of a spiritual awakening, the dawning of a new life of meaning that needs the supportive warmth of this light. When you found that person, we'll go ahead and start rubbing the palms together and really activate the palms. Rub up and down the arms. Bare skin is best, but if you have clothes, it's perfectly fine. Rub the palms together. Free the hands out nice and wide. Let's sound Om 3 times, offering yourself as a channel for the grace of this world to flow through you. Let's extend this prayer to all beings. Deep breath to begin. Hands back into the heart's altar. In our closing prayer, if you choose to join, Divine Mother, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Gentle bow of the head towards your hands in prayer. We are bowing to the divine nature that rests in the center of our soul. That divine nature is the center of all souls, and we honor that place by saying Namaste, Namaste. So thank you so much for being here this morning and for sharing your practice. To the best of your ability, carry this thread that you've begun to weave through your life into every moment. Take time to be silent and to rest and abide into the awakened silence within you. All right, great souls. We'll see you next time for class. Namaste.